You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast.
Welcome to the Disagreeable Nerd podcast, a podcast where nerds from various ages and backgrounds get together to discuss movies, TV, books, and anything else that pops into their small, simple minds. Now sit back, relax, and let their ignorance wash over you.
And welcome to an episode of Disagreeable Nerd.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
For one episode, Board Game Snobs presents the Disagreeable Nerd defunct podcast.
Hello, this is Sharde.
This is Gaby. We are going to talk to you today about the Gorge.
The Gorge. I kind of want to say it like that because it feels like you have to say it dramatically.
Well, they made it rather dramatically. The Gorge on Apple TV. It's a brand new release as of, I think last weekend, the previous weekend, sometime in February. It's a thriller slash romance.
It says
horror slash.
I wouldn't say horror.
Sci-fi slash generic.
Weird. It has like on Google action slash romance. And it's kind of weird. Okay, I don't know how we want to get into this movie. Do we want to go by play-by-play?
No.
Or kind of just get right into it?
Just overall, this is a movie. The tagline or the line for the quick synopsis of the plot is: two highly trained operatives become close after being sent to protect opposite sides of a mysterious gorge. Who says gorge?
Nobody says gorge.
When an evil emerges, they must work together to survive what lies within.
And okay, based on the trailer, I'm thinking like some sort of like dinosaur alien type stuff.
Right.
I don't know. Something with monsters.
Monsters?
And that's exactly what I was hoping for, to be honest with you. But
did it meet your expectations?
It was entertaining. I like to say a movie is entertaining when I'm not like in love with it.
Right.
It's like the idea was there. It was kind of random. Like something I paid attention to was the music. The soundtrack was really random to me. Like all of a sudden we hear the yeahs in the background, spinning off the edge of the world. That doesn't seem like the type of song.
A song I actually love.
Yeah, he plays it a lot repeatedly. It doesn't seem like that song should be in this movie.
It did seem weird.
It was random.
In the context of where it was in this movie.
Like, why is this song playing in a...
actually spit, which she didn't. That would have been cool, though. Like she's like just offing up a loogie off.
Ew! I do not like that word. Don't say that ever. That's disgusting.
So that
makes me cringe.
This stars Miles-Teller and Anya-Taylor Joy.
I love him.
Two, they're hot stars right now.
Gaby doesn't think she's hot, though. He thinks she's weird looking.
I mean,
I think she's really cool looking. Like, she has such a unique look.
If
she can be super basic
and judge people on their looks, then, I mean, he's Rooster to me.
Oh, Top Gun.
Maverick. I love Miles-Teller. Even though I've heard in the past he can be kind of difficult to work with, but
Gaby, you always judge people based off like something you done read on Reddit.
I hear tell. Anya-Taylor Joy, I don't know anything about her. I mean, I know she's been in several movies or TV shows. She was the Queen's Gambit. And they did have a chess scene in this, which I hear that she didn't want to be in there, but whatever.
A what scene?
Chess.
Oh, a chess scene.
Playing chess.
Yes.
Across the
Okay,
globe.
so I read some Reddit on her playing chess and then him playing the drums because he was apparently in a movie where he was like this amazing drummer.
Right.
And it was like this like, oh, look, they did that. Like, okay. I didn't...
little Easter egg things. Maybe.
You won't get that if you don't watch the shows or the movies of what they were doing.
No, I really don't know. Miles-Teller's made a bunch of movies I have not seen before. He's kind of like started off indie, and I'm not in.
Well, the first movie I've ever seen him in was in Divergent.
Yeah.
He was in Divergent, and he was. Yeah, it was kind of hard to know at first.
Started off.
He was like bad, but then he switched sides, and then he switched sides again. He was like super random. I remember his name. I think his name was Peter, and Divergent because he was probably one of the better characters in the movie because he's a really good actor. And I've also
what do we say real quick? I'm looking. Yeah, he was Peter. You're correct.
Yeah, and I've read the books too, so I kind of remember the character. I didn't read the last one though.
It wasn't because it wasn't worth reading.
Yeah, I even bought it.
Whiplash is the movie that he
is
named. Yeah, that was the one that was like nominated for all the awards, all that.
I haven't seen that one. Have you?
No, because it's one of those movies I have no. Movies that involve people going through a lot of duress and suffering, I just have no interest.
Wait, he's going through that? Like in this movie? What is it about? Like
a guy like his, I don't know, but from all the things I see, he's doing a drum solo as his teacher berates him. And he's like sweating super hard. I'm not interested.
I don't know.
It's probably a fantastic movie of the human spirit. I'm not interested.
I feel like it's too like serious for you. Like you need like humor.
No, I don't. You always
say that because it's true.
I don't need it. If it's in there, it helps.
Okay. Well, sometimes when the movie's too serious, I feel like you don't like it or something.
The IMDb page for this movie's cast is very small.
The Whiplash? I mean, sorry. We're back on the we're back on the Gorge.
We're all talking about.
I just had Whiplash.
Gorge. I really hate saying that.
The Gorge. Okay, so
it makes me think of like Gorge Head. I always say Gourd Head.
You do say Gourd Head, and it really aggravates me. Like, why do you put an R in go?
But the gorge. Nobody calls anything a gorge. I'll say canyon, valley.
I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to expand my vocab. I swear, I had to look up what a gorge meant because I don't really hear that word. And so, did you know what a gorge was before you knew what that meant?
Only with gorges.
Like, do you and you ever say that in your vernacular?
No, nobody does.
Okay.
Nobody says, "Hey guys, we're coming upon a gorge."
Sounds like very.
They'd say like pass,
1900s.
Some canyon, something like that. Anyway, so this movie, as we've described, is okay. So
it has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not bad.
It's got Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, when I saw her, did you get like there's Sigourney?
Yeah,
I sort of did because she's amazing. I love her.
Everything she shows up in is legit. JD was, I don't know this guy, Sope Dirisu, and there's like 6 other actors in the whole entire movie.
Sope Dirisu. Sorry, I've never heard of him.
Soapy in there to play JD. So this movie had a $50 to $70 million budget by best estimates. The majority, let's see here. I'm just looking at okay, there we go. Something happened to
Do you know who the director is? Because I know you're a director person.
Yeah, the director was Scott Derrickson. He has also directed Deliver Us from Evil, Hellraiser Inferno, Sinister and the Exorcism of Emily Monroe. So
his
horror
stuff's
movies.
Horror, right.
But he also directed the superhero film Doctor Strange, which I have never seen because I don't care about Doctor Strange.
I haven't either.
So he's mostly a horror director. Just not my jam. I'm not into horror, but there is a slight element of horror in this movie. I like to over enunciate horror because, I think it needs to be over enunciated.
Horror.
He
also did The Day the Earth Stood Still. Okay. I was maybe 13 or 14 years old when
I never watched it.
I was like 11 years old when I saw this movie. And I thought it was fantastic. And
really? I think it's they consider it one of the worst movies ever made.
I don't understand. When you find out a movie you really love and then people actually say it's the worst movie, but then I haven't watched this movie as an adult. I've only watched it as a kid. And I think Jaden Smith is in this movie. So
really?
So random. And the idea was cool or whatever. But, I liked it. I didn't realize this guy directed it. It was pretty good.
Well, this movie, The Gorge, apparently was inspired by, not based upon, but inspired by a couple of video games, Silent Hill and Until Dawn. Silent Hill, I know, is a horror video game. I don't know about Until Dawn.
I have a
would guess
question.
it's the same.
Why do you feel like we need to enunciate horror?
Because I just tend to say horror. If you don't.
You know what? If you're from Texas, I think usually my accent, I feel like I would say horror.
Horror movie.
But it's hard to say.
That's a whole different type of movie.
Horror.
That we're not going to discuss. Horror. Or
I feel like my jaw starts to like get out of like dislodge. Horror. Ow, I think I popped it. That hurt.
Okay, so it's at a $50 to $70 million budget according to AI, which I think is a good range. Okay, so quick, I enjoyed this movie. What Paige said was correct.
What did I say correct?
It's entertaining.
Oh.
For $50 to $70 million, that's their budget. This is exactly what you would expect.
But they hyped it up.
Not a whole lot of anything.
I think the best thing that I liked was the acting without talking.
What do you mean?
Like them communicating kind of
across the gorge
without actually speaking, just kind of, making notes. I enjoyed that part. Just kind of doing their thing.
That like showed some of their character.
Yes.
So what I did not like, well, to say what I was going to say real quick, there are tons of movies. The number one movie of all time that comes to my brain that's better than this, that shows what an amazing movie can be made on a low budget is Godzilla -1.
Oh,
and it will
1,000%.
forever hold that position until somebody changes my mind. But that shows you what kind of movie can be made. That movie had depth of character. It had fantastic effects. It had a great story. It was just overall 1,000 times better than this movie.
Oh, it was amazing.
Even though this movie is not terrible, this movie, it just falls in the range of it looks and feels just like every other Apple Plus Netflix movie.
It feels like they were inspired by a lot of other stuff too. For example, when they fell into the gorge, it was giving Stranger Things and the what's it called? Upside Down?
Yeah.
Yes, the Upside Down. And also the people that were like, I guess the DNA or the chemistry spill or whatever. The half tree people.
Right. The plant people.
The plant
we'll
people.
Just call them the plant people.
So I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of this movie, but do you remember that movie where it was a sci-fi movie where they turn into flowers and plants? It was a sci-fi movie. And it was like this weird thing where they were on a different planet. And it was like that trippy, bendy type stuff where, it reminded me of this.
Do not know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's fine. Continue.
So this movie reminded me, it's along the same lines as Damsel with Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh, is it The Fog? It's The Fog, isn't it?
No, it's just all these movies look the same.
The Fog.
The way they're shot, the cinematography, everything looks the same. And one of our Discordians, I don't know how you would say that, one of the people on our Discord on Board Game Snobs, they had posted why that is, and it has something to do with just the digital element and the digital world that we live in, and how it just kind of makes everything look generic. Like all the Netflix, all the Apple Plus movies, cinematography-wise, they look the same. They have the same feel, the same look, the same movements. I don't know. Give an example. Like, you're talking about that, like the Gorge and like another movie. Like the same color scheme, like the same darkness. I don't know how to describe it. They just all feel the same. Like Damsel, this movie.
Okay, I can see Damsel having a similar vibe.
This movie is apparently the number one launch movie on Apple Plus. Wolves, starring Brad Pitt and George Clooney, apparently has overall more numbers, but it's been out a lot longer. But this one, launch-wise, I guess over that weekend. And who knows, with streaming, they don't even tell you what these numbers mean. Like, I can't tell you if this movie's profitable.
Right.
Because there's no way to measure that when it comes on streaming. And anything on Netflix is the same way. They're just super secretive with what everything means. They just like to tell you this was the most streamed movie of all time on Netflix. They like to just pronounce those numbers when monetarily, I don't know what that means. Was it a good hit? Was it a flop? What does that mean? But I'm supposing for 50 to 70 million, that's a mid-range budget movie these days, and something that's pretty rare. And so that I appreciate, because they don't make many $50 million movies anymore. They're either low budget horror.
100 million?
Yeah, they're either low budget horror for a few $1,000,000, or they're $300 to $400 million, Marvel movies.
Okay, did you have a favorite maybe scene or that was super cool moment?
Yes. And
Okay.
it came early in the movie.
Okay, go. Whoa.
I like the very first action scene where the plant people are climbing up the gorge for the very first time and sets off the alarms, and they're shooting at them, and they get on those like large, I don't know what you would call them. I don't know what size guns they are, but they're large machine
They were
guns.
calling them
And they-
cockers.
Okay, and they got those tracer bullets, and you can see all these tracer bullets, and they're both of them
Yeah.
are shooting at each other. And this is also what irritated me in this movie. After the first plant people try to climb up the side of the walls, and they shoot them all down, everything calms
I
down.
know what you're going to say.
There was no discussion about, like, what the crap were
Yes.
those?
Yeah.
They acted like, oh, just another day in paradise.
Yes, that irritated me too because he didn't know why he was there. He's like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Why are we
Not
here?
once did they because they've been messaging each other across their binoculars, across the gorge, writing up signs. Not once did one of them hold up a sign saying, "What the heck did we just shoot? Those look like people merged with plants." No discussion was had.
That was shockingly surprising.
It made me angry. That
I'm
was
like-
the most non-realistic response to that situation I could possibly imagine.
Like, we're not going to discuss what the heck we just saw.
We're not going to discuss
like
this.
the tree man. Oh,
The tree man
you
had
know-
leaves coming out of his head.
and I think the movie actually started to get really,
And I love
Good.
that scene. I
it
love
started to
that
get
scene.
like, okay, I'm liking this because whenever she was trying to
That's when they kicked it up a notch.
kicked up, that's the word. Whenever she was making sure she got him, it like came out of nowhere and like attacked her. And I just knew when it like hit her in the chest, she was gonna like get infected or it was gonna
Right,
be
so one of the
it
plant
did not
people,
go that
like,
route.
One of the plant people, after this action scene where they're shooting down all these plant people coming out of the gorge, well, one kind of sneaks up and she shoots it, but then it like gets a piece of her it splinters a shot of a thorn or something into her chest. It never becomes an issue. It's never
Yeah.
an issue.
I mean, I think they kind of spiced it up a little bit
I
if they
feel
did
like
that.
that was a portion of the movie, like that they just changed the course of where they wanted to go, or edited out, or changed in reshoots. It's like
Someone should have died.
yeah, like she was fine. Okay, so to get to what Paige just said, Sharde. I always called you Sharde on the
I'm
Disagreeable Nerd
Sharde
podcast.
to the nerds,
Okay,
the snobs.
so what Sharde just said was, at the end of this movie, it is the most Hollywood happy ending movie that you could have.
And I usually am like, I don't want anyone to
Everything's
die.
wrapped up nicely in
But-
a bow. Sigourney Weaver ends up dead because she's the bad guy. It was just a perfect, just Hollywood ending.
Like Anaya chick, how do you say her name? She
Drasa.
Drasa. Actually, you know what?
Drasa and Levi.
Levi should have showed up at the end with like a half tree leg or something.
Exactly.
Like something. Or even like his finger.
There were no, unless they're going to have the Gorge too,
oh,
which if
God.
this is as big a hit as it is, they probably will.
But they destroyed the gorge. They blew
They
it up.
They did blow. Okay, so we're quickly jumping through all these things, but so to set up, like I read the synopsis of the movie, they get these two trained snipers to guard the gorge, and they go into the gorge and they find out what the gorge is, and they blow the gorge up, and then have to fight the bad people to survive what them keeping the gorge a secret. The generic setup of the characters at the beginning, you have Levi played by Miles Teller. You have Drasa played by Anya-Taylor Joy.
Is she supposed to be Russian in the movie?
No, I think they say what she is. She's Eastern European.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember exactly what she...
And like he's like this like PTSD ex-soldier.
Right. So it's just these super quick setup stories of, oh, he says what he is, a Marine with depression issues.
He also has like the best shot. Like
he has nothing to live for.
Yeah, has no family, no
And
just like kind of
she is like
whatever.
a highly trained sniper and shooting for her dad.
I did not expect her to be like
her dad was her boss.
Yeah,
that was weird.
That was really weird. I didn't expect her to be good for some reason. Like not good, but like I didn't expect her to be like nice to him because they're on different sides.
Well, they're like apparently it's both sniping bad people, so that way you don't feel bad for what they did. But the generic setup of the characters was cliche. Nothing like that part of their character setup was nothing to be amazed at. So they arrive at so then they get recruited to guard the gorge, and their predecessors basically give all the exposition of, okay, this is what we're doing. We're guarding the gorge. Back in 1940, blah, 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 blah. All this happened. Da, 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 da.
That's kind of weak.
And then that predecessor, the person previously guarding the gorge, was like, all right, peace. I'm out. I'm going to go vacation now. I've served my time at the gorge. You take over for me. I'm out of here. And so then they get on a helicopter, and then the paramilitary, and I say paramilitary because they say that in the movie, which is not military. It's just like military for hire. So Sigourney Weaver's people are just like, all right, we're picking you up. We're going to take you to vacation because you've served your time. And they shoot that guy. They're like, no, the secrets will not get out.
I felt that he was going to get killed the moment the camera was following him.
It was very obvious.
It was like, okay, why are we watching this?
He's not going to escape with these secrets.
Yeah.
Even though they really didn't know a whole lot, but they had been there. Had he seen any plan? Okay, that's another thing.
Yes. He was like, he's there for a year. And like, he didn't want to tell Levi. Like, did he see any of the trees?
Did he see any
tree people?
Yeah.
Bro.
Did he see Groot? If you see Groot, you shoot Groot. You shoot that rascal.
Shoot that Groot.
Make sure Groot don't grow no root.
It's like, okay, it's Rogue Groot.
Rogue Groot.
Rogue Groot. So, yeah, it was just very like, they didn't explain anything. And
it was a very... Okay, so this is a cliche statement. Its strengths were its weaknesses. It was a very fast-paced movie, therefore your character development is not really there. Like them becoming friends across the gorge. I'm talking about the two main characters, Miles and Levi and Drasa. So they start like messaging each other over binoculars with, cardboard signs or whatever. They quickly become friends just over the gorge, and they're not supposed to be. Then the things attack. There's no questions as to why or what in the crap is going on. Then he's like, all right, I'm coming to see you, bruh.
Come to see my lady.
Come see my lady. So he zip lines over to Drasa. They do their thing.
Do their things.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun with each other.
Wait, did you think the dance scene was kind of interesting, or did you care?
It was cheesy.
Okay.
It was cheesy.
I don't know if you felt like it was like they had this good chemistry doing the dance, and
no, it
was pretty cheesy.
It was all very forced and rushed.
Right.
So then they find out they're part of this biochemical research, and then there was an earthquake that damaged the research, and then this contaminant that's in the fog has merged the humans with the plants and the animals. And so then does she fall into the gorge first?
No, she does not. Remember, he was trying to get back to his
zip lines
station,
across,
and
so
then
he comes across the gorge.
And then
takes care of business.
This is what happens. Whenever he's about to go across, he sees one of the tree people, and the gun thing starts to shoot the thing, and it shoots his zip line.
It shoots his zip line, and he falls into the gorge.
And she freaks out, no! And
she puts on a parachute and just parachutes into the gorge. Romeo and Juliet style.
Would you do that for the love of your life?
For the love of my life, yes.
Would you
for a person I met 3 minutes ago, no.
You on
See
your
ya,
own.
Levi.
You on your own, man.
Levi, you're on your own.
But she really loved him.
She loved him from their 10 minutes they spent together.
So
So that was also unrealistic. That's what I'm saying. This movie is full of unrealistic, super surface, cliche setups, characters, deliveries, but yet it was still entertaining.
whenever
I enjoyed the movie all the way through. It reminded me, one of my not favorite. I don't even have a favorite of this ilk, but the Maze Runner 2 movie. I did not like Maze Runner, the first movie,
what?
but I liked Maze Runner 2.
You're out of your mind.
Because Maze Runner 2 was just like The Gorge. Cheesy, campy setup. We're running in that movie. They're running from these people that they're infected, infected.
And then they're running from the high ends too.
And then they're running from other people. And it's just people on the run fighting monsters. And I like that because that's just it's an easy entertainment. Easy.
I was going to say, whenever they got into the Gorge, I was thinking it would get a little bit more, fun, not fun, that's not the word, but kicked up a notch, I guess whenever he got into that, I don't even know what it was, a bug, like the nest.
You thought maybe there'd be more monsters to fight?
Yeah, it just kind of seemed like they were kind of wandering around, and then they went to that church. And
you were thinking Jurassic Park. Or hoping for a Jurassic,
I was hoping for a moment where it would be super intense.
Right. It was not.
And I wasn't getting that. Although the tree horse was pretty random. I was like, what the heck? We got a whole tree horse, bro. That is wild. Part of me, for some reason, was thinking these tree people were going to have language. And whenever he kidnapped her and was looking at her, I thought he was going, what's up, bro? Or something like that. But no, he literally screamed like a monster.
Well, and that's the thing. They show that the main guy that was stabbed at the end was one of the old military people from World War II.
But they survived.
It was just weird.
Like they should have been dead, but they survived.
This movie is as surface level, romantically, actionally, horrorly, and scientifically. It just merged all of them together to make a passable movie for Apple Plus that has become their most viewed, or at least over this weekend. And it's got 2 hot stars now. And yes, it did exactly what they needed and wanted it to do for $50 to $7 million.
I just kind of feel like the romance part was kind of why are we calling this a romance movie? I don't know. It had a love
you got
story.
2 attractive people to convince each other and convince you of their actions in this movie.
Oh, I guess.
There was literally nothing. It was just forced. It was absolutely forced.
I wasn't shooting for them. As
No,
I wasn't shipping them.
I could not care less.
I was like, why do you emphasize what you just said just now? Can you go ahead and explain it?
Could not care less.
Do you have to say that for yourself so you know you're saying it correctly?
Well, yeah, because sometimes I say I could care less.
Because I'm just saying, I noticed
therefore,
oh my God.
I could care less, but I'm not.
But
now I just have to let you know.
You're so old. You think about that kind of stuff.
Because people say that phrase wrong all the time.
And I hear you say this phrase and say that people say wrong so many times.
I have to let you know.
Every year.
As an old man.
Every day of my life.
I could not care less about the romance in this movie. Also, another great scene though was, this movie's, what frustrates me is I like this movie in a cheesy way.
He likes it, but
the development is stupid. The story is stupid, but the action is enjoyable because they have the action scene at the beginning. Then he zooms over to her on a zip line. They fall in love. Then he falls into the gorge and they both have this gorge action. They fight the monsters. Then after in the gorge, they figure everything out, blah, blah, blah. They're like, how do we get out of the gorge? The scene of them hooking up to the Jeep and then the Jeep slowly going up the mountainside.
Unrealistic.
It completely unrealistic, completely stupid. Enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it.
I liked it too, mostly because it got like with the tree people coming and
It's just
attacking
stupid.
them is
Yeah.
good.
I enjoyed it. So their first encounter and basically their last encounter, I enjoyed, because then after that, then that comes into, okay, they made it to the top of the gorge. They're back safe again, away from the plant people. But now, how do we take care of this top secret thing? And if any of these plant people make it out of the gorge, they can affect the world, kill the world. What are we going to do? Well, basically they drop a nuke, kill the gorge. Then comes Sigourney Weaver. She's the overall evil woman that's like, we've been keeping this secret. Now we got to kill you. Nah, bruh, we're going to kill you. So then she comes in for a visit. They take her, Sigourney Weaver. Happily ever after they live the gorge.
They go to France and live happily ever after.
And they didn't even have like a plant at the end of the movie, like, Twitch or something, like it's alive.
Nothing. That's why I don't think there's going to be a part 2.
Oh, it's going to be a part 2.
Oh, my God.
If this is one of their biggest hits for $50 million, I guarantee they said it brought in.
What if
it doubled their viewership on Apple Plus, whatever that means?
Wait, what if it does and it did infect one of them?
It could have infected her because she's the one that got stabbed in the
and it doesn't matter if you got
right
stabbed.
side of her chest.
It doesn't matter. You were in the mist, the fog.
Yeah, and
it
then
said the fog.
Yeah, so like they were in
you.
that fog, and the whole time they're down there with the fog, like the scientists on these old video recordings from 1946 were like, the fog carries this contaminant, and if you're not in the fog too long, then you might survive, blah, blah, blah. So, but most definitely, I think there will be a Gorge 2.
I was
horrendous an idea as that might be.
I was watching this movie at home by myself. So like Gaby was watching it at his house. And so I didn't have anyone to like scream with. So the scene with the spiders, did you like think that was creepy? Or did you care anything about that
scene? Yeah. I mean, no.
I like the creepy scenes.
Anytime you put some arachnids in anything, it's going to creep me out. I don't care if they're plant arachnids or real arachnids.
And did you notice that they attacked the tree people? That they weren't just attacking the humans. I mean,
they just attacked
Levi.
Whatever.
Yeah, they weren't, they were not biased.
And then, so, but the conclusion where she's a waitress, like, okay, if you're a super elite sniper, why are you a waitress?
Okay, maybe she wanted to be like low key, bro. Like she wanted to get out of this world.
If you're a super elite sniper, you've probably got.
What would you do?
I'd play golf every day on my earnings I've made from killing people.
Golf,
boring. Not waitressing. If you're waitressing after being an elite sniper,
bro,
you've done something wrong with your retirement fund.
Bro, what did you see where it was at though? It was,
and he was just there. He wasn't waitering. He was just like, I showed up.
But listen, did you see where?
Apparently I invested better than she did.
Did you see where it was at? It was on this rock on an ocean. Like I would work there.
Why is she waitressing though? Live off your.
They make good tips. I mean, I always hear that.
Yeah, and then there.
It was kind of random, though. I will say.
Oh no, the ending just kind of didn't match the rest of the movie to me. The ending was like, oh yeah, she's on. It was weird.
It was. Super
there were some
weird.
parts of this movie, like Sharde has mentioned, the music didn't match. The ending to me didn't match the rest of the movie. Like, oh, she's a waitress in Greece or Italy, wherever it was.
It was France.
And it's like, okay, weird.
Yeah, the ending was, I guess that it was happy. I mean, I guess that's okay.
I feel like they just should have ended it with them kissing each other coming out of the gorge or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, overall rating of this movie, what do you give it?
I will give this a 5. So not horrible.
So just
I feel
you
like
could take it or leave it.
It was like, yeah, like I enjoyed watching it, but there were just a few scenes that annoyed me, or the story being so quick and not very in depth. Very, like, I was wanting to see more monsters, like, or tree people do stuff.
Yeah.
More aggressive. Although the scene with the gelatin monsters, are we going to call them that?
Yeah, those were weird as well.
That was pretty interesting. I thought something more could come out of that. Like nothing happened to them, which, I'm not saying.
He stepped on one and it screamed
and
violently.
that's it. Like, they were just trying to scare us, but it didn't really translate very well. So that's why I gave it a 5.
Yeah, and this movie was 2 hours, 7 minutes.
That's
this
really
type
long.
Of movie
it's really long.
It's too long for this movie. This type of movie needs to be the minimum of 80 minutes, I think it is what they require for these movies to be considered movies. 80 minutes would be good. They could have trimmed a lot of fat. We don't need to know the backstory of these people because there was no backstory. Some of their just cliche stuff.
So you haven't said your rating.
I would give it a 6 out of 10. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I said quite a bit. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
The old man in you.
I don't know. It was just kind of like old school, like, and I will compare it to it in the way it kind of felt to me, but not in the overall, because I love Tremors.
I do too.
Tremors is one of my favorite cheesy. It's right up there with Arachnophobia. You give me Tremors or Arachnophobia, I'll watch those any time of the day. But I love that. And they did not have any of that camaraderie that any of the characters in those two movies had amongst each other, but they had a little bit. And I like the action scenes, the first initial action scene, and then the one of them coming up the gorge in the Jeep. I like that a lot.
Oh my gosh, I just thought of it. It's Conkers, I think.
What's that?
The machine gun things.
Okay.
I just now realized that's what it maybe is.
Okay, maybe so. Anyway, so if you enjoy, if you're bored and looking for something slightly sci-fi, romantic, horror-ish,
I guess if you want all
there's
of
romance in it because there's a man and a woman that end up together.
Okay, it's just not the love story is what I should say. I don't like
the love story is just back burner,
really
as it is on almost every sci-fi
If
movie.
you want every genre.
And they tried to make it sci-fi with the whole 1946. We're doing research. Oh, wait, there's an earthquake. We all blew up, blah, blah, blah. Now there's plant people. Anyway, so this movie is mid. It's one of the... I know it's not a Netflix movie. It's an Apple Plus movie.
Same thing.
Did you like Damsel or this movie better?
Damsel. 100% more Damsel.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I
also love dragons, so...
I like this movie better than Damsel.
What?
I think I did.
You're out of your mind. Millie Bobby Brown is amazing actress. She did really well in Damsel.
I like Damsel.
I thought you liked.
I did
Millie.
like Damsel.
Millie Bobby Brown. She is so cool.
And if I listen back, I may have given Damsel.
You
an 8.
literally said she did so great with the scene of her leg burning.
She did good.
You need to re-listen to that podcast.
This is me looking back retrospectively and realizing the errors I've made in my life.
Oh my God.
And now
no, those weren't errors.
But also this may be just recency bias, and this is the most recent movie I've watched.
It is. But I'm not like that. I know how it made me. It's more like
you think you're better than me?
Let me tell you what it is about me is sometimes it's not always about what the details are in a movie or something like that. It's more like how it made me feel. And I may not remember it exactly, but like I remember how Damsel made me feel, and I really like that. And this one I'm not getting that same feeling.
They're very similar to me.
They are similar. It was very similar.
And how they made me feel.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, agree to disagree.
Right. And thank you for listening to another episode of Disagreeable Nerd. This has been a pleasure. I've enjoyed.
I'm happy I got to be on the podcast.
Because I haven't. I was glad to have you here, Sharde, on the Board Game Snobs
course.
podcast presents.
Thank you for having me.
I love talking about movies as much as I do board games, but unfortunately, the now defunct Disagreeable Nerd podcast no longer exists because timetables amongst 3 people from different locations. It's hard to get that figured out, but we'll just continue to do this. If there's a movie I want to put out, if there's a podcast I want to put out about a certain movie.
Are you a director?
We're going to do it. All right. Until next time, I'm Gaby.
I'm Sharde.
Bye-bye.
Later, dudes.